We are live. All right, y'all. I am so excited to bring you Megan Dell, who is an FBA alum, and she is still a huge part of the FBA fam. And I wanted her to come on and tell you guys about her experience in FBA, but also share about her business because I think you guys are going to relate to a lot of what she says. She is a mom. She loves having time for her family and social time and time for herself to get her own workouts and things like that. She does not want to be crazy hours at the gym or online. And she has done it in a way that she's created a lifestyle for herself where she can take as many or as few clients as she wants if she just kind of toggles on and off certain strategies that she learned in FBA. So, Megan, thanks so much for being here.
Hey guys, yes, thanks so much for having me. So, as Jill kindly mentioned, I'm Megan. I'm 40 years old. I'm a mom of two kids under 10. I've got a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old, and we live in Squamish, BC, which is a little mountain town in between Vancouver and Whistler in Canada. I'm actually a big city girl originally from Toronto, in Eastern Canada, and I moved out west. I formerly worked in the hotel industry, I grew up ski racing, coaching skiing, was in Alberta and then Vancouver. And after the kids were born, I had the opportunity to jump off that treadmill that we all get on when we're just working and trying to pay the bills and really reevaluate what do I want to do with my life that I'm most passionate about, that's most aligned with my values, and that works flexibility as a mother. And my whole entire life, there has been a through line of health and fitness from growing up with ski racing and coaching skiing. And my father's a cardiologist. I had an eating disorder as a teenager, which I overcame. And I always wanted to be in the health field, but I thought in order to be in the health field, you have to be a doctor because my dad was a doctor, my grandpa was a doctor, and I grew up with a view of success that you're basically a doctor, a lawyer, or a businessman. And so I was very bad at chemistry and physics. Biology, physiology was great. I think human body loved it. But after the kids were born, I realized I still can go into this field. I just have to change what my perception is of success. And so I did a health coach certification a few years ago, and that was good, but it was pretty vague. It was a lot of like psychology, neuroscience, nutrition, a lot of habit change stuff. But I didn't feel like I had the vehicle to really coach clients. It felt too ambiguous. And I became a certified personal trainer. I actually was in my 20s. I just never used it. I just did it for fun. And I started coaching or training clients at a local gym. And I heard about Jill and her FBA course, and I thought, this is brilliant. This is like an amazing way to scale my business, to be able to grow, have clients across the country and across the world. And much of my network is actually not where I live. And so I was very intrigued by FBA. And I thought this is also great because when the kids are homesick or they're on vacation, I can still have a way to work and serve clients and make money, but not have to actually trade my time for money. And so I signed up for FBA. As maybe you all feel, oh, it's, a couple $1,000s. This is, a lot of money. If I don't have any money coming in, I've already spent so much money on my business. And I can tell you right away, I always believe that investing in yourself is never a waste. If it's something that you're interested in, something that you're passionate about, first of all, it's never a waste. Second of all, you will make the money back in no time, like within a month or two. So do not worry about that. And the best part, honestly, about FBA is Jill will teach you the exact tools to be able to package and sell what you already know and do, but in a compelling way that people will actually say yes. And they will send you direct messages, they will send you applications, and she will literally teach you every single thing you need to do on your calls. And the coolest thing is they're all recorded. So I go back and I listen to them. I write down what she says exactly and I copy and paste it to the notes section on my phone. Like today, actually, I posted something yesterday from a niche launch, which is a technique that Jill teaches about how to get clients. Posted something yesterday, exactly what Jill taught me. Within 20 seconds, I had a direct message in my Instagram from a doctor who I don't know, who does not live in my town, who wants to work with me. And she wrote me back and she just wasn't a price objection, but like, oh, this is, a lot. I just need to get my finances in order. And I sent her back exactly what Jill would say. So yeah, if you have any price objections, like you will literally make it back. And the best part is you have someone who will hold your hand every step of the way for years on end. You can attend these calls every single week for years on end. And you have the opportunity for hot seat coaching for years. You have the opportunity to listen to other people get coached on questions you might have. So it's the best investment I've ever made in my business, hands down. And she's given me the confidence to sell, to raise my prices, to have an offer suite so that I can either serve as many clients, like if I want to have 10, 15 clients at a time, I can. If I want to, this past summer, for example, I had the kids home for one of the months we were traveling and I had the kids home. And so I thought, well, I guess I can't work. And Jill's really great at helping you reframe your perspective. No, it's not that you can't work, it's that you can't be giving your time. So how can you still serve clients and make money without you? Make videos, right? So I did another one of Jill's courses because I love her and her content so much, Moderation 365, the nutrition course. And I made a video series basically explaining the tools of that. With Jill, you will learn how to create a signature system. I created a video series explaining that. So yeah, like 100% best decision I've ever made in my business. So
I really love your story because I think, especially once you have kids, sometimes it can feel like, oh God, I don't want to be at a full-time job. And I don't want to be, especially if you came from, you're working in the gym, like the last thing you want to be doing is like being at the gym with your first client at 5 a.m., doing a split shift, missing dinner, missing bedtime, like having to do those things. And so I know that we have a lot of people listening who are like, God, that sounds amazing. How could I really do that? Like, how is it possible? So, did you have any? I'm just curious, did you have any experience with scarcity? Like, did you have any moment? So, you enrolled, just so to give everyone context, Megan enrolled
last
exactly
year.
a year ago.
Yeah.
So, it was
Yeah.
exactly a year ago. She's been an FEA for a year and she enrolled during the waitlist portion. So, we do the waitlist enrollment a couple of weeks prior. And as part of the waitlist bonus stack, we did the one-on-one niche launch. And what stuck out to me about Megan, and we had, I don't know, maybe close to 30 people on that. I remember what stuck out the most for me was we did that niche launch and you immediately put a post together. You immediately went to Facebook. There was a moms group that you're a part of that's like a local moms group. And y'all, if you're listening to this, like you have access to these groups too, right? So she went into this moms group and they have this thing on Mondays where you can share about your business. And she had previously, correct me if I'm wrong, you'd previously been sharing about yourself in there.
Crickets, crickets. And then I did exactly what you said. And right away, actually, one of my clients I've had for over a year because of a post you gave me. Well, you helped me create.
Yeah.
And she's one of my, like, I love her. We play golf together. Like, it's incredible. Yes, exactly.
So I remember you saying like, hey, I have this group I can post in on Mondays and I haven't really been getting any bites. And so we're like, all right, let's go through the criteria. So you guys will learn this in FBA. We teach the niche launch. You'll go through criteria, prerequisites, who exactly you're looking for. It's very much like an energetic sort of exclusivity type feel to the post. Like, hey, you must fit these criteria to be qualified for this offer. So we went through it. Megan had her qualifications. We went through them and I gave her some feedback like on a couple of small things to make it more tangible, make it more specific. You guys should be like, this is the stuff we talked about in Profitable Online Coach. We talked about messaging. This is the difference between posting something and posting something that converts. So she took the new version of the post, put it in, and literally that day you messaged me with a screenshot that was like, I'm already getting DMs from this. Like literally, you already got like dozens of DMs from this one single post after getting pretty much crickets up until that point. And I just like to point that out because it's not that Megan isn't super smart and good at what she does and she has an expertise. How would anyone know how to do business if you don't access a business course, right? We can be so good at fitness, nutrition, know all the science, like geek out on that stuff. That's why I always tell you guys business is a different skill. And until you learn it or I learn it, or we all have to learn it, it is a whole separate thing about like, okay, yes, I can know the expertise, but if I don't know how to get the butts in the seat, you can be the smartest person on earth. But if you don't know how to message something to get someone's attention, then that's what you have to learn in something like FBA. So, did you have a moment when you were invested in FBA? I don't know how long you and I had been connected before you joined, but was there a moment where you're like, is this really going to work for me? I think this is really important to address. Was there a moment
Never.
where
I
you're like,
never ever felt that because I could see right away what you were putting down, people were picking up. And I was like, she is a brilliant marketer. And it like flabbergasts me that like this is the thing. You and I always say to everybody, like Jill is a badass boss babe. I love your energy. That's a huge, I mean, I didn't have any hesitation when I just started hearing you talking. Like you're bold, you're blunt, you're like, you say it like you mean it. And I'm very much similar to that. I like, I keep getting in trouble for swearing, but I do swear. And so I just, even though, you're not a mom, that's fine. Like there's a lot of, there's so many coaches out there that don't click with, I don't admire, I don't respect. And right away, I admired you, I respected you. I was like, I want to follow her. I want to be in her orbit. And there is power in presence, in proximity, and I wanted to learn from you. And so I never had any hesitation. Obviously, yes, it cost money, and a little bit at first I was hesitant, but right away I could see I was being able to raise my prices because you gave me the confidence to do that. Um, and so, well, I do a hybrid model. I do see a couple of clients in the gym because I really like that energetic exchange of having some in person, but I'm very, very selective. These have got to be people that like I really want to work with, and they're paying me now. I've almost doubled my price. So it's like, and this is something you've helped me do. And then how you talk a lot about energy management versus time management. And so, in the morning, my husband commutes, he goes to the city, he's gone. I basically don't start work until 9 a.m. Because I got to get the kids to school. And then I go to the gym, I train my clients, train myself. You are your brand, be your own best client. Literally, I'm about to go to parent teacher interviews and walk and see all the parents at the school. I am my brand. I need to work out. I need to walk the walk. And so I consider my hour in the gym is like also a non-negotiable. That has to be done, say by 1 o'clock. And then usually in the afternoons, I come home, shower, eat, and then I'm on my computer from like 1 to 4, coaching calls, doing marketing, admin, computer stuff. And then I go get the kids extracurriculars. And so it works really, really well for me. And then I do have some video courses that I do. So when people give you a price objection, oh, it's too expensive, I don't have the budget for that. Or if it's I'm going away on a trip and I'm not able to service these people, I have the ability to downgrade the offer and say I have these other offers that are DIYs. So you've taught me everything that I use on a daily basis, and I'm so grateful. And I love having the connection to you with with the weekly calls as well.
Totally. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
thing too, is I realize that for a lot of folks, like our goal in FBA is to get people their first sale in the first 30 days. Like we're going to do the 101 niche launch and like we're going to tweak it to the point where like we're getting some coaching bites, even if you have a tiny audience. But then it's like, all right, how do we iterate this thing? I think a lot of times people think that because you can do something like the 101 niche launch just on social media, they're like, oh, I just need to get my followers up. And I think that's just the tip of the iceberg is the social media stuff. It's like, okay, what about email newsletter? What about, yeah, email marketing? What about lead generation? What about, like you said, doing some other offer? So when I am getting objections on the phone, I'm not just like, okay, have a nice life. There's
Mhm.
something else that I can get them started with, not because I'm just greedily trying to take their money, but because I want them to have a solution. And I don't want them to have to wait till they have thousands of dollars till they can invest with me in one-on-one. There's like something else they can do in the meantime. They know where I am but they can get a win with a DIY product. And so that's what we talk about in FBA. We talk about building out your product suite or building out your ascension model. Some of the folks who did Megan's sort of DIY course this summer, she's like, look, I don't want to take on more clients, but I'm going to put out this DIY. At some point, those people may ascend into one-on-one coaching. They may ascend into your group offer as well. So I love this idea of sort of, and you messaged me about this when I asked you to come on and chat, you were like, I have this sort of, I've been toggling sort of off and on we can call it a sales mechanism to have either more clients or fewer clients based on what's going on in my life. And so you said this summer, you guys you went overseas, you had this amazing trip, the kids were out of school, you want to be home with them. And now kids are back in school. And I saw you put up a niche post yesterday because it was like, all right,
Yeah.
let's turn it back up. Now I have room for another maybe 3 to 5 clients this month that I can start taking on. And you have the tools to do it. So this is a sales mechanism. Y'all, it shouldn't like you should have some predictability to your business. It's not just like a crapshoot. You're not out there just posting content and being like, let me know if you need any help. There's actually a system that can predictably create coaching bites. And if you're not getting at least 1 or 2 coaching bites per week or per month, then the content that you're posting just isn't working. And that's not a dig on you. That's just like, how would you know how to do it if someone didn't teach you how to do it? So I'd love your take on like sort of this idea of toggling off and on different offers based on where you are within the season of your business or within the year.
Yeah, for sure. And I think once people enter FBA, they see that there's a lot of modules to go through, and it's like I'm very, very type A, so I like to just like, oh, I need to do it all today. When I was a kid, I would do my homework on Monday that was due Friday, like in my desk at school. Like I'm a real nerd. So I got overwhelmed a little bit.
Yep.
But then I love it so much. And so, for the first several months, like every night when the kids go to bed, but it's not passive. Like you can't be, you could listen while you're on a walk or something, but there's so much juicy content that you're going to go and want to re-listen and write down. So I encourage, participants to really try and do it when you are at home, or at least know that you're going to go back and get a replay and write down, because that's where so much of the value comes from, the verbiage and the actual marketing materials that you teach us. But that if you do get overwhelmed, you don't need to do all the tools at once. So there's certain sections that I still don't do. Like I haven't done paid ads. I had someone build my website, so I don't do these lead pages or create, some of the stuff. I can go back when I'm ready. One brilliant thing Jill says is, at some point you got to pick your pace and make peace with it. And if I didn't have children, I would be at a very different pace, but I do. And this is just, this is just the reality right now. And so in terms of Jill's question about toggling a business on and off, so Jill teaches different, she teaches how to do a niche launch, which is basically something you can make a post every single month that is calling out to a certain person, and they're going to reach out to you and want to hear more. Then Jill will teach you exactly how to have that next conversation and the next conversation. um, you know, we often talk about like say yes and figure out after how to do it. So okay, once I had so many people wanting to, I made a niche launch post, so many people wanting to do it, that then I created a small group, for example. I didn't know how to run a small group. Jill's there to help you figure that out, and there'll be a training for that. So, in terms of
It's a good
toggling
problem
on
to
and
have. I
yeah,
have
it's a
too
good
many
problem to have.
people.
Yeah, yeah. So, with in-person clients, you need to be there in the gym with them. Or if you're on vacation, you don't get paid. If they're on vacation, they don't get paid. Whereas with this, you can change your offer suite to sort to match your life. So if I might be going away on a trip in November or December, maybe I don't want to be running a 12-week program right now, because we usually go to Hawaii in the late fall, for example. So I will run a 6-week program, and Jill teaches you exactly how to make your irresistible offer, how to make these programs, how to market them, and then it's all about conveying the value to the client. And so, yeah, I've just been very, very fortunate to feel like I have the flexibility to really expand my perspective of how I can serve people in creative ways, and that's because of you. So thank
Well,
you.
I love this so much because it really does speak to um, picking your pace and make peace with it is like such an important lesson for all of us to learn. I always think about it like when you start an FBA, you probably start with a lot of other people. It's kind of like you're running a road race and like you're all at the starting line together. And it's sort of like you kind of notice some people are like at an 8-minute mile and some people are like a 9-minute mile, some people are like a 7-minute mile. And it's easy to compare. It's so easy to go, well, that person started at the same time as me and they already have 10 clients, or they, oh my gosh, they're doing a paid challenge. Should I do that? Like at some point you have to put your blinders on. And this is about like having the discipline to just go, okay, number one, is this for me? And number two, is this for me right now? And you have to have the self-awareness to know, okay, I have 2 kids. They're going to be home for the summer. I don't want to have a whole bunch of one-on-one clients. I need to figure out another offer. So I'm still bringing in money, but it's not going to take all my time. And that's, of course, the beautiful thing about the versatility of having an online business. And the reason why you have been able to go to your audience when you launch something like a DIY course and have people actually buy it is because you've been showing up consistently. We've been having this conversation, of course. Everyone who's kind of new to FBA and new to maybe trying this has this big fear of showing up. Not everybody, but a good amount of people, this fear of showing up. But I think so. Can you speak into that a little bit? Like maybe you never had that fear. Maybe you're used to kind of being on stage as a personal trainer or whatever. I always think that personal trainers and group instructors do a little bit better with this because they're used to being like
Mhm.
the person who has to be in charge of the session. But can you speak a little bit to just like the power of showing up and like how important it is for like people to see you and, the authenticity behind it and just like ripping the band-aid off, even when it's scary to put yourself out there so that you have an audience of buyers when you're ready to put an offer out?
For sure. Yeah. And I think it's not a Jill quote, but Jill, I've always loved quote. I think since I had an eating disorder, I was in the hospital trying to brainwash myself to get better, and I've always just loved them. And one of them is, and I tell this to my kids all the time, is that you don't come out of your mom's tummy knowing how to do these things, right? Like you're not expected to know how to, and you go to school to be, say it's in fitness. How are you supposed to know how to be an entrepreneur and run your business? And so, but the other one is that you're anxious or you're nervous, you're scared, not because you're incapable, but because you haven't done it before. And the only way we get comfortable doing something is doing the dang thing. Like I was went mountain biking with my kids on the weekend and they were complaining, and I was saying the only reason, you only get stronger by doing the thing. You only get more confident in your business and marketing from doing the reps. And sometimes you're going to get some likes, sometimes you're going to get crickets. Half of the issue is the algorithm. Sometimes you talk about how people might see your postings when they're driving at a red light. And so really just can, and it's more about consistency. You share about this than frequency. So some people that have an hour a day to craft social media might post every single day. I tend to do like at least every other day. Sometimes it's every day. One thing you teach us that's great is, if you're not actually trying to sell something right now or service clients, you don't have the capacity, let's drive your lead magnet. Let's get more followers on your newsletter. Let's educate. It's like with the Gary V jab, jab, jab hook, is that you're giving value, ask for a sale, right? So you're not every day just asking, oh, come work with me. It's you're giving them so much value that when they think, okay, I need this, why me, why now, you're top of mind. Sure.
Mhm.
Is there, I think from doing the thing, from walking the walk, you don't have as much imposter syndrome. Like I'm at the gym, I'm having my protein shakes, I'm drinking my 2 to 4 liters of water. So it's not hard for me to talk about these things. And I love the Moderation 365 nutrition curriculum, and we talk about one of the tools is mindfulness with food. And so like I do eat sweets. I do, like, not a ton, but for dessert I'll have like a little Ziploc size bag and I'll put in like some cut up dried mango, some like maple almonds. This is like my treat, but like, pick your poison, we pick how much of it, right? It's not that bad. And I tell my clients, I'm like, I hide this from my clients. And so I think if I did, I might feel like more imposter syndrome. But within mindfulness of Mod 365, we talk about, okay, if you want to have some like whatever, Cheetos chips, no problem. Like pour yourself a little bowl of it, whatever you would give to a friend, go have it, enjoy it, go away for half an hour. If you really want more, you can come back. But so I'm a product of the product, and you teach me so many tools. And so I think, yeah, sometimes there may be some, actually recently I did a photo shoot. So that's an example of being
Yep.
nervous about putting myself out there. And, I'm a little bit perfectionist oriented. And I weighed myself that morning just to be like, if I'm mad at these pictures, I just want to know. And my weight was amazing. Like there was no reason I shouldn't be happy with, oh, you look like there's a roll here or whatever. I was at like a low end of my normal weight range. Um, and you said at some point that it's selfish not to put yourself out there. There are people who genuinely, I'm going to start crying, who genuinely need you, I've always believed, like, don't waste your pain. What have you walked through in your life that puts you in a position to be able to teach others?
Mm.
For me, it was overcoming an eating disorder. It was watching my mom die of cancer and recognizing that health is truly the platform from which everything else stems and determines how we show up in life. It determines our energy, our vitality, our confidence. And we are doing a disservice to all those people who need us, and we are not for everyone. And that's fine. Attract and repel. I love working with driven moms or driven women who are around like 32 to 55 that are, that I'm just a few steps ahead of them. And I think that if we feel like, oh, I'm too fat or I'm not thin enough or cut enough for this photo shoot, get out of your own head. This is not about you anymore. This is about you serving those who you are a lighthouse for. And, if you feel like, oh, you need to be someone with, big tits and butt implants and like super, those are not your people. Some people that's for someone else, so just be you. There's enough to go around for all of us. And, um, yeah, at the end of the day, like you're in this field because there is a congruency, there is a level of just alignment with your values and your passion. And I've heard before, what would you do every day if you had all the time in the world? What would you do? For me, it's always health, wellness, fitness. If you could walk into a room and talk about anything with anybody, what would it be? It's living life to the fullest, and health, wellness, fitness are the way to there. So just, yeah, I think it comes with age too, that we're more confident just being who we are. And no,
And you start
40.
to take action and you start to see that it works, right? So you're starting to create this show of evidence that, like, okay, I don't have to feel like an imposter syndrome because when I try stuff, I get a result. And you have to trust that, right? You have to trust the evidence. You have to be like, oh, and I always say that trust translates, or confidence, but confidence is area specific. So trust will translate. If I get a result with Megan with my food, I'm much more likely to go to her for exercise because I'm like, oh, well, I got a result with her with this. She must be good at this too. but confidence does not translate. Confidence is area specific. So for example, like I can know that I'm a really great, I don't know, dog mom or something. Or maybe you guys know, like if someone asked you, like, are you a good mom? You'd be like, yes, I'm a good mom. My kids are good kids. Like I did a pretty good job. But if I'm like, are you a good online coach? You'd be like, I don't know. Like it doesn't translate the same way. The only way to get more confident in an area is to
Reps,
do
reps,
it.
reps. Yeah.
You got to rip the band-aid off and you got to get the reps. And that I think is one of the hardest things is like this what if, I'm going to put myself out there. What if it doesn't work? I'm going to put myself out there. What if I look stupid? What if people, think I'm an influencer or like all of these, what if people, friends and family judge me? And you pretty much said it. It's like, it's not about those insecurities. At some point, you turn your insecurities into obligation. And you're like, I can't afford to be insecure. People out here fucking struggling. I gotta go. Like, I gotta be out here. It's not about me. It's not about how I look in this photo or I have this weird roll on my clothes
And
or
people
whatever.
want relatability. That's the other thing. That's what I'm saying. You look too perfect, too like fake. That's going to repel the people that want to work with you.
Yeah. And so at the end of the day, it really isn't about you. So that's like the whole idea of like, it's actually selfish to keep your gifts inside when so many people need them. And, that's not like a line, that's like true. Like I remember there are plenty of times in my own business, especially when I was a blogger, where I was like busy, I was exhausted, I was burning the candle at both ends. And I was like, but I told the internet or I told the public that I was going to blog every day. So I'm like, I'm on the hook. I got to fucking do it at like 10 o'clock at night.
Mhm.
I got to get something up. Was it perfect? No, it had grammatical errors and typos. And maybe that's where you and I, Megan, are a little bit different, where I was like, I'll just get my shit still has typos in it. But I go, you know what? It's up. And that's better and it's done. It's
Mhm.
better than perfect. And so I think if you can get to that point where you start to see, wow, this really matters, then it takes you out of the equation. It's not even about your insecurities. You don't care what people are saying because you know what? There's this group of people over here who are getting wins with what you're helping them with, and that's what matters. It's not, that neighbor who might think that I think I'm the shit or I think I'm famous or whatever the weird story that we tell ourselves. It's about, okay, no, these people need my help and that's my job now. And so we get over the insecurities fairly quick when we do see like the benefit of helping folks and we do see that we're getting wins online. So I love that you mentioned that. What would you tell
Yeah. And
somebody?
staying close to you, like continue, we always say you're only one workout or one moderate meal away from getting back on track, right? So if you're feeling like you're losing momentum in your business, if you're feeling like imposter syndrome, if you're not feeling confident, the number one piece of advice I would have is show up to the live calls. Eventually you'll get through all the recorded calls, but even me, that's why I continue to show up for the live calls because proximity is power, just staying in the energy, the momentum of what you in your orbit and you're just always just sharing so much like light and inspiration and tools and then the questions, the community that the other FBA students, some of them have been in the program for years and you can hear what they're doing and half of it you're like, whoa, I have no idea what you're talking about, but that sounds like, pretty cool. And you got lots to learn from them. And then you got new students. And so I'd say, just you talk about like the transformation is in the transaction. And when you pay attention. When you pay, you act. And when you act, you get results. And like
Could be
the
that
the the
simple.
fee, honestly, the fee, a couple $1,000 is nothing, is peanuts compared to the value I've gotten.
I
And
love
I
that.
made it back right away, anyways.
Yeah, I love that so much. So, what would you tell someone who's thinking about joining but is worried? Is this going to work for me?
100% it will work for you if you do what Jill says, and you can't not do what Jill says because she shares it enough and so impactfully. Like, not one. I have zero hesitation. I have zero sense of regret. I share any trainers in the gym that are trying to grow their business online. I've been telling them about Jill. Some of them have signed up for Jill's courses. Um, No, 100% all in. Do it. You won't regret it. She has probably a guarantee of some sort, anyways, but it's 100% worth it. And it's not only my business, like I just feel more confident and vibrant and empowered. All the things you've in the ripple effect, like you have translated out to my clients as well.
So
And
cool.
yeah,
I love it. Well, I love it, darling. Thank you so much for and just so everyone knows, like I wanted Megan to share her honest experience. Would you be cool if people had some questions if they
for
reach?
sure. Yeah, definitely. Anybody can reach out to me. I Get Fit with Megan is my company. My website is Get Fit with Megan. My Instagram is Get Fit with Megan with dots in between get dot fit dot with Megan. And yes, I've been in the program since September, and I attend, often with the calls. They're long. They're 3 hours on the Wednesdays, and to 1 to 3 hours. I tend to, because it's like my middle of the day coming home from the gym and usually trying to do like a power walk and eat lunch. I will often have my video off, and then eventually at the end, if I want to ask a question, I'll turn it on. But it's definitely an amazing way to stay plugged in. And yeah, any questions you guys have at all, let me know. But yeah, best decision I ever made. Not just for my business, but certainly for ever since I had kids, to help me really feel independent as a woman and to have something for me to pour into. I'm gonna cry again. Yeah, it's not just like for my business, it's literally my sense of contribution to society and to the world besides house shit. So yeah.
Important, man. I'm so
Yeah.
glad that you said that because we often forget that, right? But then you're like, wow, yes, I have something that's just my own, like my own little corner of the internet that I get to create whatever I want here. And I think that's just such a cool opportunity that we can do that. So you are the best. Thank you so much for
Thank
sharing.
you.
You guys, if you have questions, Megan is open and I'm sure she'll be honest in her responses. But thank you so much for taking the time, darling. You are the best. And
Thank you.
if you guys don't reach out, make sure you go ahead and follow her on Instagram. I dropped her handle in the caption so you guys have it. If you need anything at all, let me know.
Okay, and Mod 365, sorry, this is a little plug, but it's amazing if you are interested in nutrition at all. The key with Jill's program, one of the keys, is that she will give you the framework to create these offers. So, like this, for example, I created my signature lead system, which stands for lift heavy shit, eat sufficient protein, adequate hydration, do enjoyable cardio. So, we talk about people want to work with you because you have a mastery, so you have a credential, you've got reps with clients, you've got them results, you are a role model, you walk your walk, you're a product of the product. Two is methodology. This is you have a system that you can talk about, that you can sell, not just, oh, come work with me, come coach with me. It's like, I have a blueprint that I take my clients through. She will help you develop that blueprint. And then the third is me, like relatability. Why you? Why, you know, be yourself, be authentic. You will attract and repel. That's fine. There's enough people that want to work with you. Jill will help. This methodology part is absolutely critical. So this the second M. And within Moderation 365, another course she has, it's not very expensive. I don't remember the exact price, but it's amazing for nutrition. It will give you tools. So I have my lead system within Mod 365. It's the MAD nutrition model. It's an acronym for tools to teach. So not only, so I use Trainer Eyes, for example, for my fitness programs. I build everybody a fitness program. I walk them through my signature lead system. We've got coaching calls, but then I also on the calls walk them through lead system and the Mod 365 nutrition curriculum. So I feel confident in what I sell because I have these programs that I developed through Jill. If I didn't have them, that's why I said this health coach certification I did before, it felt too vague. I didn't feel like I had enough that was concrete enough. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
100%. And it also creates safety for people wanting to work with you. So I love how like you'll get on your stories and just be like, hey, you guys, when I work with clients and you walk them through the lead system, like you talk it out. So it feels like, oh, this is a guarantee. Like it's a roadmap of what we're going to do together. Oh, this feels like this cohesive thing that if I just follow the plan, I'm going to get the results. So it does create safety for folks rather than just being like, yeah, we'll work together and they'll be like, we'll just
yeah.
look at nutrition and I'll give you some tips and tricks and whatever. It's too general. It doesn't create safety. It's not clear what they're getting. And so if you're in a sales situation or you want to use that, like Megan does on her stories or in her posts, where she actually walks people through her lead system, she is literally creating a sense of, we call it a competency trigger for people. They go, oh, like this person is an expert. It's a competency trigger. They see Megan as an expert in her thing because she has now organized that system. And this is her unique IP. It's her intellectual property. And so I love that.
Jill will teach you how to do it.
It's all
Okay.
an
Thanks,
FBA,
guys.
folks.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for listening. If you guys want to hit up Megan, she is available for that. And have a great night, darling. You're the best.
Okay.
Thanks for
Thank you, guys.
being here. And I'll see
Okay.
you
Do
on the
it.
next call.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.